Hey there, this is an explainer on virtual environments in Python and why you would need that and what they actually are and how to actually set them up. So, to get started, let's open the terminal window and to actually explain what virtual environments really are. The problem virtual environments solve is that they help you work on multiple projects that require different dependencies and different versions of different dependencies, and using virtual environments helps us to avoid conflicts between dependencies. So let's say I'm working on a project A that requires version 1 of some dependency or a library, and I'm also simultaneously working on a project B that requires version 2 of that same library. So if I have installed version 1 of the library on my machine, I'll be able to work with project A. But if I try to run project B, it will fail because it requires version 2, but my machine has version 1. So if I upgrade my library installed on my machine to version 2, project 1 will start to fail because it specifically needs version 1. So this is the problem that virtual environments solve by basically simulating Python or creating a new instance of Python on your machine that keeps all its modules and libraries separate from your global files. So in order to create a virtual environment, let me quickly create a directory for this tutorial. I'll name it venv tutorial and let's cd into that. Now in order to actually create a virtual environment, you run your python command. I have python 3 installed, hence I'll need to run python 3 -n. If you have python as the command on your machine, you'll have to run python. I'll run python 3 -m followed by virtual environment, and then you can name your environment. I'll just name it test environment. You can name it whatever. So let's wait for it to be done, and it's already completed. So if you ls into this folder, you can see a new folder named test environment has been created, which is exactly what we wanted. So this folder test environment basically contains an entire version of Python that is separate from the globally installed Python on your machine. So if you install any packages, when you are in this environment, they'll be installed into this folder. So those would be completely separated from what is installed on your machine. So let's see how you would activate this environment. To activate this, you need to run the source command. If you're in bash or z shell for this example, you'll have to run source, and the source would be within this environment folder in the bin folder, and we have a script called activate. Running this activates the virtual environment, and we can verify that by seeing this test environment name mentioned within parentheses, making sure that our environment has been installed. So just for a quick note, if I open a new terminal tab and run python, if I try to import a library like if I try to import a library like pandas, I'll get an error because I have no such library installed on my machine. But if I go within my virtual environment and I run pip install pandas and wait for it to be installed, now I can see I still cannot import pandas from my global version of Python because the pandas library was installed within the virtual environment. If I run python here, and you can notice I don't need to run python 3, I can just run python straight by itself. I in fact can import pandas while I'm inside the virtual environment because the version of pandas that has been installed on my machine is specific to this virtual environment and is installed inside this folder only. So I can run pandas dot underscore underscore version underscore underscore, and it will give me the pandas version. I however cannot do this from my global version of Python because that's what virtual environments do. They keep my library separated. So the library pandas that I installed will stay within this virtual environment and hence won't interfere from anywhere else. So that's the whole point of virtual environments. I'll escape the Python REPL now, and in order to deactivate the environment, you just type deactivate and you're out of the environment. Well, that was it, and I hope it was pretty simple.